And the next pull gets turned. And Catchup with the disc.
A huge flip block there. Monika Zachkovka, Jabba as she's known, such a menace on either side of the disc and showing her defensive prowess there.
Puts it back to center. Chiblitschka goes to the wide side. Urbanchka. Right back to center. Chiblitschka. Leading throw, good left hand to solidify there before two are on it by Kominka, but the throw to goal beyond the intended target. Taken high and then launched. Felgic puts it and hits Brechko. Catchup, can they open up with a double break here? It looks like it. That one hangs and lands in the hands of Maya Otna as Catchup put 2 breaks on the board to kick things off here in Vienna.
If you're not familiar with Sophie Felgic's game, then you will be this season. She's really been a breakout star over the past couple of seasons, not just in Austria, but kind of in Europe, to be honest. Was playing on their mixed side last year and was doing brilliantly, and she was really impressive at EBUC last year, EBUCC I should say, out in Royan on the west coast of France, and she just has everything it seems in her game. So certainly one to keep an eye on, not just today, but all season long, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ben. She's got everything in her game. What I do find she does best is huck with that backhand. Her backhand deep throws will come out hot and heavy with high frequency. She's never shy to pull the trigger on them, and you see why.
Yeah, I do like her.
So,
do like her game.
Third try to hold Benji for troubles. This is not the start they were after. Last year they were in the final, I believe. No, they were not. They were ousted. It was a box versus East Block final.
Yes, semi-final appearance, I think.
Yes.
Which they followed up with a semi-final appearance at EUCF at the end of the season, but that is that's not quite semi-final form early on in this one.
No, not at all. Paziska Jasinska throws that one to space, but there was no pursuit. And a chance for 3 breaks in a row for Catchup. The spin around by Lena Ortner. There's 2 Ortners assumed to be sisters at this stage. Johanna Dor, who we saw in the Austrian under-24 juniors in Padova last year. Back to Dor. And the big throw with gritted teeth as soon as it went up, knowing that it was not quite on. Sophie Alder did connect on a huck earlier, not this time.
I think the game plan is clear from Catchup. It's shoot early and shoot often because, I mean, generally they've been pretty good on those, but also if they're not, then, hey, we'll play a little bit territorially as well. Get the disc down the other end zone, so if we, there is a short field turnover, you're in prime position just to punch it in straight away.
First throw is hanging at the sideline, but a nice toe drag keeps it in, Benj. They are talking about it. No.
Must admit, I thought Kroll did a pretty good job of keeping that in bounds.
I think the Ortner is trying to say, yes, your back foot was in, but your other foot was down before you caught it. I didn't believe that that was the case.
Yeah, I thought she was able to keep that aloft for long enough.
And we're back in. Chiblichka. Gets the gainer. And again, Krull goes nearly end zone, doorstep now. High over top, back to Chiblichka. She wanted the around backhand, but the lane closed. Now it goes around. And continuation works. Back to Krull. Defender on skates as Ortner goes down there. Into the backfield. Folek shoots, and Catchup get another possession.
Just hasn't quite clicked yet for Troubles. I wonder if this is the, yeah, not jet lag necessarily, but just that extra discomfort from not, being quite as well rested.
And here comes Catchup, Sophie Dorr. Backfield gives a good chopping cut, does Joanna Dorr. And Alder.
Gesundheit, whoever sneezed off camera.
And smacked away there. That one thrown into the defense. Kroll makes sure of it. And Chiblichka picks up. She's going to take the timeout right away. Not a bad idea at this stage. A sloppy point, a untidy start for Troubles. They'll be happy to keep it at 2. Have a quick chat about this. Hopefully put one in and right their wrongs. We'll see if they can make all that happen after this short break.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and
fund
our
our
work
work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Hive Ultimate. Great place to go for all your coaching necessities. Go check it out. You can find them on YouTube, but of course on the socials as well. Troubles, Benji, they have been, easy to say, having some trouble.
Difficulties.
Going. Having some difficulties getting going.
Yeah, the early timeout call makes a lot of sense to me because you're not that far behind in the game, but 10 minutes and you definitely still have some early teething problems. They were maybe the highest name team who weren't at a spring invite. So it's the first time really seeing them here this season, so well, work for them to do.
As they get going after the timeout, leading throw to Kroll, and that was not drawn up in the timeout. Wobbler does go to Folek. Nice cut there by Chiblichka. The throw again, though, not totally crisp. A second Chiblichka out there. And the throw goes down and has to be stopped from rolling to prevent any more negative yards. Meters.
It's clear what the plan was there for Troubles. It's let Kliblitska cook, to be honest, just have a quarterback the offense, the former Euro star, and while she was going every other, they couldn't make it stick, but Troubles are such a sparky side. They never go down without throwing some metaphorical punches back the other way, and a hand block there. They're so good because they're so active
hand
on the
block
force.
so strong that they want a new disc. The hand block tacoed that disc, so they're going to get a new one in. This one has not been tacoed by a super strong hand block.
They are so active and busy and threatening on the force.
Chiblichka again. Will this be the possession? Will this be the moment that troubles break into the score column? Folek. Rose, nice bid, 2 hands on it to put the torso to the ground. Kroll goes back to Chiblichka. Centering throw. And now shot for goal. Will it go over? It will not. Ortner rises and takes it away. Another gainer. Kensmeier. Backhand, a lot of angle on that. Exciting door. She takes it high, well read. Door goes back towards the center. Now into the attacking zone, very much so. Kensmeier with the snood over the head. Dumps back, quick to the end zone, and toe goes down. Kensmeier with the goal. 3 breaks for Catchup, Benji.
Catchup looking like they're giving trouble some catching up to do, to be honest. They have come out to a really hot start. I mean, it's a side that's been playing together for so long. I remember commentating on a good core of this team back at EYUC, so that's the European Youth Ultimate Championships, all the way back in 2017 out in Veenendaal in the Netherlands in the under-17 division. And yeah, they've got that chemistry down. They've, you know, put a couple of additions in, but generally it's been a lot of that same unit that's come up through the age bracket together.
They don't give, sorry, Ben, they don't give a breakout team, but if they did, I'm getting the sense that it could be Catchup this year. Again, talked about their indoor performance earlier this year.
Yeah, because you were out at EUICC in Herning in Denmark. How was that?
They lost to, I mean, I think they went through undefeated through pool play to the surprise of everybody. Made it all the way to the semis, lost a very tight semis to KFUM, who lost in the final on Universe to Atletico. Go watch that game if you haven't. But they were great. And then you talk about the juniors, too, that we've seen getting a bit more chemistry. This team has got youth. This team is getting better and better. I'm looking forward to see what they do all season long. And the big shot goes. No more messing around for troubles. That one goes deep to Bangula Dida for the goal. And Zakshauska with that rip of a backhand bench.
Yeah, Monika Zakshauska can do everything as a player. She'll get blocks on defense. She can stretch the field with a turn of pace, or she can come under and she can just drop dimes going the other way. Great cut as well by Eva Bambu-Wadida, timing it well, accelerating beyond the defender. All she has to do is track it, and she's got plenty of time. She just slow down, turn around as well to make sure that she's getting her chest behind the disc, creating a nice little backboard, just in case it does somehow slide through the grasp. Nicely done for Troubles. That is some way to finally get on the board.
Yeah, indeed it is. They have tried conservatively. They have tried to put it through the hands. They've tried to recycle, and it's not quite worked. It doesn't mean they have to give up on it, but it's not a bad option by my estimation to give a kick at the can at the other way about it, and that being the one-shot offense. Zazaushka taking it upon herself to take that shot, and rose to the occasion when the moment was hers. Pull a bit short and rolls, knocked down in the middle by Trouble's defenders waiting for their assignments to arrive. Wuti kicks things off. Backfield play. Cetina goes to sideline. And straight back to Cetina.
is going to stay with Catchup. Doing a very good job of swinging it back and forth at the moment. Just taking those options with the lateral movement, and that's opening up a little bit of space behind this front line step. And you can see that they're taking the time, say, look, we're going to be clear about how we want to attack this and break it down. And it's been very effective because they're into the red zone now.
Yeah, I'm loving what Catchup had done starting these points off on defense, and I'm loving just the same what they're doing with a O-line, so to speak, out there. A lot of the same players we've seen. They're not reserved for O-line only, is what that's telling me. As Satina gets it again and goes to the sideline. Now that shot will be in for goal if it's caught, or will it? Yes, it will indeed. It was right on the line there, assessed late and given. Nice offensive possession, Benz. You were saying it amidst the point, but they really were looking patient and sharp throughout.
Yeah, lots of nice throw and go movement in there. Not necessarily, you know, the quick short ones where it's bang, 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 and you really just race through the heart of a defense, but it's more taking a look to scan your options and then throwing on the move towards one sideline and then making that slashing cut in behind the front line. You're collecting the upline pass, so not only are you keeping the disc moving, you're also gaining field position with it as well. Considering that was the first actual O point for Catchup, didn't really seem like it because that was already just so tight and polished.
Yeah, tight and polished, and as I said, it doesn't seem like they've got strict OD lines. A lot of the players we saw out there in that last point, certainly not their first point of the game, and that was the first pull reception for Catchup. So they are, we'll see if we can work out how they are deploying their lines here. Big one goes up, and that is gone only to the defense. Shot ill-advised, and now let's see if Catchup can take advantage of another possession. Upline cut goes. Around, gets there, Felgich. A backhand goes deep, a little bit too far, that one. And
Brechko, I think, was the target. It looks like it was just overshot, to be honest. It's because there was a little bit of separation there. The angle as well made that it come down with quite a bit of pace, and that's tricky because it didn't really give Brechko time to get underneath it. And usually if it's in Brechko's arc and she thinks she's going to play, she is absolutely going to bid it as the hammer opens up the possession for troubles, but this might come back on a travel call.
So Chiblichka with the disc on her goal line, throws the hammer, love to see it. Palma with the reception. Palma now really stuck. Great defense on Chiblichka to prevent anything easy. Back to center from Mrozhinska, and another turnover, picked up straight away and shot in for goal. Catchup continues to pour it on Benji. 5-1 in this opening round. What a performance thus far.
Yeah, what a start from Catchup. The plan there clear was, let's let Klebitska throw it and then try and get her away from the disc. Maybe have it in players who you just kind of feel less scared of what their weapon of throws are, and see if we can undercut Klebitska a little bit. So when they try and get her involved in the backfield, as they are so often want to do, such as her handling skill, that actually you know, maybe we can pick some of these off. We can get the opportunity not only to turn it over, but turn it over on a short field and get going quickly. And that time, just the fake just sets Kubicka over towards that hip a little bit more, and it opens up the space for the inside window through towards that far sideline. 5-1 catch-up, and you know, I think they fully deserved it.
But most certainly. They have been working hard out there, and they are on this morning, this Austrian side. Shout out to the chats. Abjo van de Vega, the gentle handler, giving some props to our cameraman, Felix, his disc following ability. And Maya Kozak from Wrocław, giving us props for our Polish name pronunciation, as that one does go in, as I mispronounced Wrocław for a second. That one to Julia Kroll, a deep shot going back the other way. The deep shots have been certainly, easy to say now, what's worked best for Troubles.
Yeah, Zachkowska being a huge weapon, not necessarily picking up the disc, but being a good initiator downfield, getting you a huge gain of yards, and then hucking off a continuation. This time, that flick, little bit of outside to in, sit on that one, just to take it around any defender and into the awaiting arms of Julia Kroll. That's what you need. You need to not only get those O points, but have those cleaner O points, which are beginning to come up with a little bit more regularity now for Troubles, because if you want to find a way back in the game, you've got to get those breaks, and if you want to get those breaks, well, you've got to score your O points. So the quicker you can do that, the more chance you have to put pressure on your opposing offense.
Yeah. Get your defense back on the field. And they've done that in this instance. Catchup from just about the midfield mark, their side of the midfield, going between the handlers, and went to go upfield, and that one knocked away. Here's a break chance. Kubicka wound up but did not give the upline backhand. Now the fill comes. Kasinska back to Kubicka. Gainer. And that one is up and in for goal. Nice throw from Podgorska. And Troubles break for the first time in the game, and things start to look like they tighten up quick when you get early game runs that go back and forth. It looked like you may have thought it was all over, but it can quickly adjust if Troubles can get back on pace here.
Well, Troubles are too good a side to roll over and have their tummies tickled, metaphorically, of course. But, you know, as we've seen from watching Troubles over the years, and from their run at EUCF a couple of years ago, not a couple of years ago, last year, in fact, all the way in October, back in October, is that they, you know, even if they go down a few points in games, they always play teams close. It's so rare that you see them. I don't think you ever really see them get blown out. I think a good example of this is the final here at Vienna Spring Break 2 years ago, where Box had a huge lead, and Troubles slowly but surely brought it all the way back to Universe Point. Box won in the end to send the hometown fans happy, but it was a game for the position they were in. Troubles had no right, really, looking at it, the way they'd kind of been playing for a lot of the game, to send it all the way, take it that deep. But that is testament to the quality and the spirit that they possess. I love watching Troubles play.
Now it's Catchup, trying to get their game back in order after a flying start out the gate. Satina in the handle space gets it back in the center.
Shout out to our hosts here in Vienna, who have just brought us a round of caffeinated sodas.
fizzy drink. Is that what you...
I wanted to say fizzy drinks, and then I was like, I should have stuck with my guns.
I would never say fizzy drink, but I know that you UK types tend to say that.
That's a lovely throw.
Yeah, beautiful float on it. Gets it up the line. Alder. And not quite jammed in. Yes, jammed into that corner. It is Satina who cashes in for the goal for Catchup.
You understand trouble's going with the zone again, because last point it got them the turn, and that one turn was all they needed because they begin to find a bit of rhythm offensively. But Catchup, not fazed by it, didn't get flustered by the fact that they turned it over on the previous possession. Just found those pockets, happy to go laterally until they could get that space kind of beyond that front line and also that middle pocket, and then just crashing through from behind that little en passant cut, the strike up the line, delivered in stride for the score.
Yeah, great to put one on the board and hold after a break against. Don't let those runs against count. 6-3. Catchup definitely still able to have a commanding advantage, but this is going to be a long game. As Benji says, trouble's not a side to roll over and have their tummies tickled, which I loved, so I had to repeat.
You can tell that I'm a cat owner, can't you?
Yes, for many reasons, but yes, just one more right there, Benj.
Oh, there's a slightly hefty collision in the midfield. Nothing untoward about it, but just players going in opposite directions at decent speed. It looks like they're all okay to continue, which is the main thing.
Banbula Dida. Nice over-the-shoulder break backhand there to cross the field. That one to Palma, and now back to Banbula Dida. Folek. Banbula Dida. Rozinska. Zazauska, and now on the doorstep. Ooh, needs the lean over to keep that one alive. Back to Zazauska. Fakes the hammer. Back to the middle. Roshinska. Gives the fake backhand, then leads. Zazauska to change speed a bit, but no problem. But the next throw into the defense, there's a call on the play.
Yeah, maybe some contact as she was trying to release that. Everyone seems happy to say, yep, that's how it played out. So we're going to send it back and we'll do it again.
Zazauska. Ooh, a bit too high and no chance for a second effort.
It's frustrating when you work it all the way down the field that you get to the red zone, all of a sudden the space compresses, you have to go backwards, and the disc just slips through the fingers and the opportunity is lost.
Strong catch there by Brechko. She gets it again. Then she puts it deep. Felgic hanging under. Does good to suck in the defender. Super strong hands there to ensure it emphatically, and then the ensuing throw goes for goal, Maya Ortner.
She doesn't just catch it, does Felgic, she snatches it away, doesn't she? It's great. Like, truly, there's a bit of a fire about the way she does everything that I really like. Brechko, I mean, it's no surprise to see her come up with tough catches. I remember seeing her, and not to go back on about it, 7 years ago, but like laying out like literally directly forwards and catching a disc, and then the disc landed on the ground like edge down, and I've genuinely never seen a disc quite so tacoed. Like it was properly like folded in half, like some origami, and she still held on to it, so she can come up with tough catches, and she's got such great strength of grip, and of course she can do it all as a thrower as well, as we saw there. Felgic, as we mentioned, snatching it down. And then the continuation is going to put Catchup within one of half-time. Been very, very impressed by the Austrians here, actually.
She can do it all. You can do it all, too. And by that, we mean clicking that like button, clicking the bell, become a subscriber of ULTI.TV here on our YouTube channel. And, of course, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/ULTI.TV, and have a read.
See what we're all about. I think at this point, For most of you, that's probably well established, but if you're kind of newer to what we do over here, hello, welcome. It's great to have you along. By the way, speaking on doing it all, shout out to Felix, who is our one-man kind of production crew this weekend, and no surprise, doing a bang-up job as always.
As always, Chiblitschka. From the sideline, centering there, Zazaushka. Nice gaining throw there, good meters. Lominchka back to Chiblitschka. Leading throw a little bit too high, and Troubles have given it back again. Dangerous indeed.
I mean, that was a real teaser, wasn't it? Because it was only a little bit too high, and then a slight gust. There's not been too windy today, but there is a little bit of a breeze picking up, and it just popped it over, and the bid comes through, and it's going to get the D as well. That's Zatkovska all over.
Bid is there, but the hands can't go.
Oh, that's agonising for Troubles, because it feels like you get a huge defensive play to it that just back. You put it deep as well, but maybe just ever so slightly rushed. So it requires the layout at the other end, and it comes up just short. But would you bet against Troubles going out there and doing exactly the same thing again? No, I don't know if I would, to be honest, because that's the sort of team that they are.
Oh, and the throw through the end zone. Nice bid by Ortner to put everything out there, but the throw beyond, and no meters gained, so a very, very short chance now for Troubles as Banbula Dida picks up, engages, Chiblitschka goes up line, and then back up line. Can the throw go? Yes, but the help defense runs through and shuts the door.
That's really smart defensive help coverage there from Catchup, noticing that the stall count was rising. They'd isolated Klebitska in the space, and that's always where it was going, and just coming in, flashing to get the block, and then a brilliant layout is going to ensure that possession stays with Catchup, but the centering pass to get it off the line goes to the floor, and I think this might have to have a player come off injured. I didn't quite see how it happened, but I did see the sign for an injury stoppage. I think, however, she's all good to continue, and the turnover is going to stand. I'm just going to wait for the now defensive Catchup players to check the ground, and we're back underway.
Banbula Dida picks up, Chiblitschka's there. Calling for a stack, but she does have a mess in front of her still. Does just throw to the break side. Second chance is picked up. What a layout there. Zazovska, and in for goal on the ensuing pass. Zazovska holds on to her shoulder after the layout, but a magnificent pickup to keep that one alive and then in.
Yeah, Jabba can really fly. Jabba, her nickname, by the way, means frog. And sometimes you kind of see it, because she really does spring, and she comes out of nowhere and hops all the way through. I like the look of the inside. It's just rising ever so slightly, tipped. And then I think actually the catcher play does really well just to kind of slow down and prevent a maybe heftier collision. And then Zakkovka continues into the end zone for the score. Yeah, big plays for all over the shot from both sides in this one, which is great to see.
How do you learn these things that Java means frog? Were you told?
So that is from being fortunate to have basically made a trip to Wrocław about once a year over the last few years, and she was part of the organising crew for the JJUC a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so she told us. Essentially, that's how straight from the horse's mouth,
yeah.
Straight from the frog's mouth, I guess.
Straightforward and from the mouth, one way or the other.
Yeah, she's scary on the pitch, but she's very friendly off it, which is lovely.
Felgic then led
Wow.
and falling away, puts the hand out and clamps the hand. Great catch again by Brechko. She'll do it all, Bench.
Yeah, that's a really good catch, because you're off balance a little bit, how often do you see those actually go to hand compared to bouncing around or go to the floor? And 8-4 will take us into half time. Going to get another look at it here on the replay. There is the space, and you have to kind of zing it to prevent the help defender coming across, but kind of backpedaling, falling away. She's probably got the backside defender in the peripheral vision there, but she maintains her focus on the disc, sticks out that. Again, we mentioned how kind of sure-handed Brechko is, and it just nestles right into that palm of that right hand. Superb catch from Sophie Brechko.
That's a superb half for Catchup. Trouble's still sticking around. Make sure you stick around. We'll be back with more second half action after this short break.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
And we're back. Halftime taken by Catchup, 8-4. A big lead. We said it off the top. Troubles made it to the finals, or didn't quite make it to the finals here last year. Made it to the semis, and then made it to the semis at UCF. So they were not quite in form at the start of the tournament. Is kind of what we're alluding to. Is that going to be the case again this year? Of course, so much changes with every teams in the landscape of the division from season to season. Is this a case of Troubles not quite being sharp enough, or is this a case of Catchup showing some marked improvement at the start of the season?
A little of column A, a little of column B, I think. Like, is this Troubles in full flow? No. Have Catchup also been brilliant? Yeah, I think they've had a really good game so far, and they are certainly a name to watch for not just this weekend, but for the season as a whole. Although this is not an official EUF event, teams can choose that are playing the European Club Series can choose to have their games count towards the algorithm, assuming that they play other teams that are also opting into this weekend. But not every game a team plays over the course of a season is necessarily going to be counted, because you might say, well, actually this weekend we're sending it a team, but it's kind of a second team. We've got a lot of players on national team duty, or we're sending a team to Windmill, but it's Windmill, so we're treating it as a party tournament, or some, for example.
Development, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So you have to declare before the weekend, I think, that you're say yes, we're happy for our games to go towards the algorithm, and I think that's a good idea, because it means all of a sudden, if actually, we're doing really well, we can't say, by the way, we want to opt in now. Or if you send a good team and then you just have a little bit of a stinker, you can't say, no, but that didn't actually count. Didn't count. No.
We suspect by the end of the season, a lot more of the tournaments are going to be counting for the teams in that lower realm that are still trying to qualify. They have a bit more option at this stage of the season. And the longer the season goes, if they are not in a very secure spot, they're going to have to opt in just to, make the games count and hope that those games go their way, that they can work their way up.
Yeah, this is one of those games that is counting for the algorithm for the EUCF qualification at the end of the year. Catchup were at the spring invite last weekend in Grenoble. They finished with a 4-2 record. They beat Jet Set Love 12-9, 13-9 over Tequila Boom Boom from Rimini, went down to Hurt 15-8, a 13-6 win over Queen Kong, which is the women's side of Monkey from Grenoble, a 15-2 win over Switzerland's Solabang, and then they lost on Universe to Jet Set Love in their last game of the weekend. Troubles, maybe the biggest name across all three, certainly in the women's division, that weren't at a spring invite. So at least one of them. So for them, this is their first kind of full tournament action, and it's good for them to get game that maybe, I think, indicates why they're so keen for their games to count for the algorithm, because they need to get to that 10-game limit, and that is a good way to start the second half for Troubles, because Catchup very nearly extended their advantage, and it was only that last-ditch block that's prevented that.
Yeah, last-ditch block by Magdalena Meller really just kept it out. It was looking like a very sharp possession for Catchup coming into the second half on O, trying to cash in their advantage from the breaks they took in the first half, but given back, and they will still have a chance as Brechko picks up, leads forward all alone, and then the throw goes. Another goal for Maya Ortner, and Catchup do cash in. Not a clean hold, it's a dirty one, but the score is 9-4 any way you slice it.
Yeah, Maya playing with her sister Lina Ortner as well, so it's always nice when you've got a kind of familial connection out there on the field. And that final scoring pass, there was a initial thought where I thought, oh no, there's that overthrown, but the angle just kind of sat it up there a little bit, and that meant that she had time to kind of adjust and come back towards the disc and make the catch for the score. Just going to go back to the last thing on the algorithm, by the way. You can watch, if you want to see where everything stands, you can look at it yourself at ranking.ultimatefederation.eu, and Ravi does his in or out show, which kind of breaks down everything so far. As it stands, Catchup are ranked in 8th place in the women division, which, regardless of whether they win a wild card later in the season, would be good enough for a bid to EUCF at the end of the year. Appreciate that it's still very early on in the season and there's a lot more Ultimate to be played, but it's a good start.
Yeah, good to be there. The run through by Lina Ortner, and taking away another possession from Troubles. Will they cash in once again? From the far sideline, Laura Youngworth sends for goal. Two hands, a little bobble, but then held, maintained, and counted for score, Benji. They do it again.
Youngworth really fizzed that one, didn't she? Just thought, I did feel like the store count was ticking up a little bit, so, you know, thinking I may as well lock onto the end zone here and see what I can find, and it came out good with the goal. Defensively as well, I think that handler on the far side was a little bit isolated, wasn't quite staying as connected as involved, and that gave the opportunity for the run through. You have a look at it there, the defender is kind of sitting, trying to gum up any inside options downfield, and the throw goes, and because the handler's set quite far away and the cut's not come at kind of an angle that shuts off the defender there, comes through with the block, and then again firing that flick into the end zone for the score. That is 10-4, and all of a sudden a game that felt really close, all of a sudden Catchup have got plenty of daylight between themselves and a very high quality opposition.
Breaker, 10-4, do you read me? A huge advantage for Catchup. They continue to impress, Benji. It is a brilliant display. Whether they start on O or D, they're showing poise. And in the case there, you got to be good to be lucky. Even the luck is going their way when they need it, but it is certainly not a case of being lucky.
No, copy that, Steph.
Into the hands. Banbuladida goes forward to the far sideline. Podgorska back to center, finds Kroll. Options limited now. The dump space is wide open for Cheblichka. Banbuladida back to Cheblichka. Dump space again. Great defense by Catchup. Even in the dump space, there's the hammer required. The one-hand low catch would have been difficult and wasn't availed.
Yeah, one of the problems they had there was that Klawiska was essentially surrounded. Wherever she looked, there were teammates, which might sound good, but that also meant wherever she looked around, there were defenders in the way as well. So using the hammer to try and find the soft space beyond, not a bad idea as Felgic rips it, but that one is not going to be on target.
No, they miss again. Troubles get another opportunity here.
I've turned him up a bit.
Back into play from the corner. Troubles, who really working to find any room in that corner.
Yeah, they're definitely in danger at the moment, right close to that end zone, but that might give them a little bit of movement as well. Klabitska throwing and going, just trying to get a bit more verve about their offensive rhythm.
Yeah, Chablitska, a key cog in what they do when they're moving well. She seems to be on an every other, and her throw and go ability, second to very few in Europe when she gets things cruising, as she is at this very moment. Troubles working it up to the midfield. Chablitska goes wide and around. Good hands by Kroll. Throws to the corner. Great pickup there to keep it alive and in bounds. Kaczynska. Oh, and then Chablitska, slightly casual. She puts up the hand in apology. That one just over the fingertips and maybe looking upfield a little early.
Tough one to take that, because you'd started right on the corner of your own end zone, a horrible place, and you'd got it all the way down the other end of the field, and then you're doing the safe, sensible thing. You're not forcing it, you're resetting, and that's where the turnover comes. And Catchup, I think, saying, actually, we're in a good position here, but we can really press our advantage if we take a timeout and get something set up and make sure we can capitalize.
Let's see if that will happen after this timeout. We'll be back then. We hope you will be too. Good time to like and subscribe while the break is on. We'll see you on the other side.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ULTI.TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
Finney.
All European Finney.
Back in action. Catchup take the timeout. They get another chance here to break troubles.
Steph, obviously last weekend we were in Padova, in Grenoble, while also being at home in our front rooms.
Yes.
But we are here on the ground in Vienna. I'm very thankful why. Not just because it's great to be here in person, you can kind of soak up the atmosphere and vibes, not because Vienna's a beautiful city of culture and history, but also because unfortunately the weather in Padova, especially last week, was pretty wet, and
heinous.
Grenoble was pretty windy. One was heinous, one was heinous. You can make your mind up which way you prefer to pronounce it. But it is absolutely glorious here in the Austrian capital. I think the best weather anywhere in the continent right now.
Yeah, as good as it gets. There are a cloud or two in the sky, but they're just little guys, and they're never going to block the sun away. It is blue skies, this beautiful green pitch, and as good of a backdrop or front drop as you could want for this tournament, as those two kind of fight for who's going to take it. Either one of them could have got under it as Catchup continued to move coming out of the timeout. Backhand goes.
Yeah, one of the hardest things I find about getting back on offense after a timeout is that because you can't move until the disc is checked in, you can be a bit static, but what a dime that is!
Wow, that throw was an absolute perler on a wire. Sophie Alder hucked a bit at the start of the game. They were backhands. This time pulls out the forehand, and that was just a scintillator. I can't wait to see this again, Benj.
I mean, that's like a Mozart symphony of a throw, isn't it? It's beautiful. Just that little teasing hint of inside-out shape on it, just to curve it beyond the defender. As a defender, there's nothing you can do as a throw about that. Felgit, she makes the cut in the right way. It's kind of straight down the center, so Alder's got a lot to aim at, but didn't need to because, that is a frozen rope, a rainbow. Cannot say enough good things about that throw.
No,
so often, like your highlights, it's people getting, huge skies, big blocks, hand blocks, foot blocks. Maybe you're laying out to save a score or catch a tip. And you don't often see enough highlights where it's all about the throw as it was there.
Yeah, well, there's one. You were absolutely right. The defender was in pretty good position, like not horrible position, and was just exposed for every inch that she gave by a perfect throw there.
Yeah, you can't defend that.
And another throw early in the possession, troubles, but Bula Dida can't get that one to fly right, and Catchup will continue to pour on pressure. Jungwirth back to center. Hofmeister. Chip shot forward, Door. Joanna, Door leads to Satina, and it's too far, and Troubles will pick up again.
Yeah, Troubles generally taking things a little bit more circumspect after turns. They're not picking up and going quickly. That time the plan is clear. Was just isolate Zachkowska in the middle of the field. The disc tipped, but still caught.
And in for the finish, Benz. They do finish the job. Zachkowska does the big part of the job, catching that tip tuck. And then finds Kaczynska in the, that's Suda in the end zone to finish things off.
Yeah, at that time, as we mentioned, they were kind of having a side stack on the far wing of the field, and it's basically giving a huge space to Zachkowska. You're going to be isolated in there. We're just going to give you the space to go to work. I thought the coverage was pretty good there. I think it was Daniela Satina who got a little piece of it, but not enough. Good focus by Zachkowska. And then when they see that the disc is up in the air for the initial pass, that's when you activate the players on that far side of the field, continuing with that deep strike, and it's delivered on time for the score.
$11-5 now, the score line. Catchup pouring on the pressure.
Great pull.
Prechko from her own corner. High and caught by Door. Felgich, rather. Krentz. Ooh, and great bid there. Knocks it away. Kaczynska heard me calling her name earlier and wanted to make sure that it was called properly, so gives an incredible bid.
Yeah, it's tough to set yourself and react quickly enough to make the layout when the disc is already that close, but made herself as big as possible and got a reward for it.
Chiblichka goes to the dump space and straight back. Fakes the forehand and uses the backhand side of the field. Meller goes central to the block getter. Kaczynska. Back to Chiblichka. Nice centering throw, Folek to Meller. Meters away. Chiblichka gives another release valve option. Kroll. Chiblichka goes up line, the throw's on, and Folek pops one over and in to Chiblichka for the goal.
Yeah, Troubles break, so they've still got some work to do. That's a good way to begin to eat away at that deficit. And this is kind of classic red zone offense. It's, you know, have clear options, clear cutting patterns of who's going when. If they're not free downfield, we'll just reset it ad infinitum seemingly. And then eventually they clear out that far side of the field. Klawicka comes from the handler space through, and the high release gets it past the mark after you threaten the inside flick. That would have been, I'll tell you what, a really spicy disc to throw in there with not much of a window at all. And so even if you don't throw it, by faking convincingly there, you get the mark to shuffle and shift across. And that opens up the space for the high release backhand out into space, and Klawicka catches for the score.
Beautiful piece of work. 11-6. Troubles staying alive. That break is, as you say, Benj, is a little breath of potential comeback. A breath of belief, let's say, that they can strike back against this team that has been very much putting it to them.
Yes, it's like the smell of rebellion from Troubles.
That one hits the ground, rolls, I believe, out to the sidelines, so maybe moved a meter or two before brought into play. Satina on the pickup. Engages the up line, well covered. Second handler gives the dump cut and gets. Groger back to Satina. Upline goes Kreinsmeyer. Satina goes upline. Good sequencing by Catchup. Good throw. I do believe that was the intended target. Who knows, but Sophie Dorr sees it go over a teammate and a pair of defenders right into her hands for a goal.
Yeah, whether she was the intended target or not doesn't matter, because there was good communication in the end zone there from Catchup. There was a clear, I'm in a better position, you don't have to go for it, or I'm leaving it, it's yours. However precisely it played out, they were both on exactly the same page of, we know who's going to get this, and comes through pretty much uncontested with the defenders drawn towards the disc. And Catchup's deep game has been mighty impressive in this one, Steph.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen it out of the hands of Alder. We've seen it Brechko go deep. We've seen Felgic go deep. Receiving end has had multiple targets. They're not relying on any one person or pair to do it. It is a team game, and it is, as you said, Catchup's deep game is working well.
Yeah, there's real variety in it, and that is something worth noting, because often, you know, even teams that do employ lots of deep elements to their offense, that frequently, even with teams that are good at it, you can kind of pen in, okay, or at least pencil in, I'm pretty sure who's going to be on at least one of the ends. You look at kind of one of the standout sides in Europe last year, that Belgian Open side, and while they had so many strings to their bows, when they were going deep, usually the target was Toby de Crane, and because of that you could maybe find a way to try and match up against that a little bit better, but it's been so varied for Catchup that it's much more difficult to do so.
And so a pair of turns there gives a little poorer field position to Troubles at the end of it all. But they will have possession from their own goal line after a missed shot from Catchup. And back into play, Roshinska. High stall count now gets to Chiblichka. Roshinska. Ooh, and the charging defense takes it away. What a great play as Catchup pick up hammer, hanging into the hands. Make it 13, Benji. Catchup look legit today.
They really do, don't they? Playing with a little bit of panache, I think, as well. Yeah, this is impressive. I must admit, I haven't actually had a chance to see any of their games at Spring Invite last weekend, but given how they've played this weekend, I think I might need to go VOD diving because they have laid down a marker here.
Yeah, I am very much looking at this first game of the tournament, first round. As you see that again, here's the hanging hammer.
And as we mentioned, you know, they were in action last weekend, so they've got a bit more competitive action under the belt this season than their opponents. But even with that,
and there's some great competition in the women's division here.
There is.
I am really looking forward to see how they are going to match up with the likes of East Block, with the likes of their cross-nation rivals box. There are a lot of teams that if they can pull off a win at this tournament this early in the season, that would be huge. Of course, they went well at Spring Invite, but they weren't the best there. Are they a better team here than they were there? Has the roster changed much? We'll try and get a bit more info, but right now, the start of this game, the start of this game, we're near the end as far as they're concerned. Throughout this game, they have looked very, very tidy.
Yeah, they really have. And yeah, you mentioned some of the other teams that are here. Fabulous, former European champions, 3SB, they've, I think, been maybe overtaken a little bit by their compatriots in Eastport, but still a very good side.
The Toasties are back.
They are indeed. You've got Swarm as well, for example. Sharks coming over from Spain, which I'm very excited about. Like, the final last year, that's a nice another run 3D there from Catchup, was Box versus East Block, 2 top 8 sides in Europe last year. So there's real competition at the top end of this event.
Yeah, a great tournament to take for any team. Would give excellent momentum going into this season as Catchup are using their momentum now. Another big shot comes off. Will it hit? I think just a bit too far in front. Good look by Alder. She's been firing, smoking gun with disc in hand, and worthy shot missed by a small enough margin that sure, yeah, you can shake your head, wish you had it, but a valiant effort, and again, just keeps the defense guessing and bodes well for that team deep game. And a missed shot. They talked about some contact on the mark, but the conversation was quick. Turnover stands. Youngworth goes in the middle. Very strong two-handed catch by Ortner. Now Satina flexes her muscles because she saw a pickup field.
Yeah, could you see the hand signals there just to communicate everything quickly and effectively?
Yes, flexing her muscles. The two-arm, what would be bicep flex, is the indication of a pick being called.
Will be bicep flex because I have no biceps?
Into the middle.
Oh,
Kane's Maya. Alder. Now in the corner, chipped in and found for goal. That is Joanna Dor, and that is game point coming up. 14-6. Catchup well in front.
I'm such a sucker for a good little inside flick. Either with the deep shot you saw earlier or that one, you just you sit down a little bit on it as you release it. You see there the defender come in, doesn't get there, and as one of the defenders clears through, there's scarcely a window in there. Like Klipitska, I think it's the defender, who kind of so close to getting a fingertip, but just really ripped in there, and then a little bounce in and out to get the score, and that'll bring Catchup within one of the win. Yeah, just an inside flick. Love, love, love it. It's my favourite throw to use. Not that I ever play Frisbee anymore, and it's my favourite throw to see executed well.
You never play bench?
Actually, I stayed with friends in Leuven last year in between EBUCC and Windmill, and I did go to pick up, and it reminded me how horrendously unfit I am, and I don't think I've picked up a disc in Hannigan since. And that was the first time I'd done it since the pandemic. Although we are going to be in Leuven in a couple of weeks' time for Elite Invite, so who
Maybe
knows?
it's your time to shine once again.
Yeah, just Moon, if you want to roster me, Clapham, you know, I'm available.
Benji Reese, I'll be his agent. You want Benji, call me, we'll get him. Service is available.
Thanks, big dog.
No, I'm always there for you, Benji. We'll talk super team later. Troubles, moving it up.
Wait, what do you mean talk? I thought it was already on.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Goes back into the hands of Folek, and she let the grip loose on that. The deep shot goes. It's going to be gobbled up. Chiblitska takes care of that one. Now back to Folek. Takes a deep breath with the disc in hand. Has few options. Throws a safe around is what I was going to say, and Chiblitska kind of turns that one upside down and out of hand. Picked up quick. Kretschko to the far sideline. Krenz gets Dorr in the dump space. Dorr to Krenz. Great lefty catch. Finishing touches are on. It's all over. Felgich with the game-winning catch. 15-6. That is a blowout as far as Ravi, the human abacus, would be concerned, and his algorithm.
Yeah, just before the Hooter goes for the official time cap as well, but Catchup were brilliant. Trouble at points looked like they were going to begin to mount the fight back, but they didn't quite have the reserves in them today. And Catchup, they wouldn't let them back into it. You know, they continued to apply pressure defensively, and you know, from a Trouble's perspective, even when there wasn't maybe quite the defensive pressure, they just had too many miscues, in all honesty, that I think they could look at it back and think, okay, we can tighten this up. We had too many silly drops or throwaways. Maybe that comes from, you know, not having as much, you know, game time in the legs this season. So you just take a little bit of time to sharpen things. But would it surprise me if we see Troubles in the bracket tomorrow afternoon? Absolutely not, because I know they've got the quality. Would it surprise if we saw Catchup there, given the way they've played? Hell no.
Potential for a rematch? Who knows? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Make sure you stay tuned throughout the weekend. Up next, we're back in the open division. Mosquitoes taking on Fui, another Austrian team up against the Czechs. That action coming at you soon. We'll leave you with this highlight package of the game. Hope you enjoy while you're watching. Like and subscribe. Become a patron if you can. For Benji Reese, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks.
Yeah, Milan. I mean, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Ultimate.